Touching Lives, run by Deafblind Scotland, is asking for over £395,000. They'll use the funding to spread the word about the challenges that deafblind people face and want to train their older members to run classes for schools and community groups all across Scotland. The first of tonight's three hopes to help people over 50 who are both deaf and blind. The project is called Touching Lives. Drina O'Malley is spearheading the Primetime project, Touching Lives.
A deafblind friend of mine once told me she lived her life in a cupboard with the door closed, and occasionally someone would walk along, open the cupboard door and do deafblind manual in her hand, and then she knew that there was a world out there. Then they would close the door and go away again, and the world ceased to exist for her.
Touching Lives want older deafblind people to run classes explaining what life is like for people who are both deaf and blind. They want to take these classes all across the country. But to receive the funding to do that, they need your vote. I'll give you the phone number once you've seen all three of tonight's projects. Touching Lives could help a lot of people like Evie. She's been deaf since childhood, but was devastated when her sight started to deteriorate.
Do you remember when we were creating stories?
Evie's convinced that Touching Lives will give many people like her the focus and confidence they need to stay positive. To fully appreciate the difficulties people like Evie and Eliza face every day, I tried experiencing it for myself.
And that very suddenly feels not very nice at all.
I was instantly disorientated, and it was amazing how everyday things felt totally alien.
The steps. Okay. Door handle. Pull that.
It was easy to understand how completely dependent you are on your guide.
Let's sit here.
And even simple everyday tasks like eating become difficult.
It's chilly, isn't it? So. Nothing there.
Although I knew Drina and Evie were right next to me, the feeling of isolation was almost overwhelming.
I feel ridiculously tense.
But I'm lucky. I knew I could take off my blindfold and headphones at any point.
Is that okay? We'll take it off now. Yeah.
Well done, you.
You feel so tense the whole time. And that's just horrible to think that, every day of your life, there's that feeling of tension and fear and anxiety until someone comes along and gives you a hand and takes that away for a wee while.
It really brought home to me the challenges deafblind people face and why it's so important to raise the awareness of this disability. Touching Lives will help deaf and blind people to gain confidence, educate children about deafblind awareness, and raise the profile of this little-known disability. But to make this happen, they need your support.
People like Eliza and Evie are living in their houses, like living in a cupboard, and this project will help them get up and out and teach people how they can be helpful to them, how they can remove barriers for deafblind people. It will make a real difference to deafblind people's lives across Scotland.